I've made it no secret that I enjoy Warhammer novels that more than the actual tabletop game, and I'm more of a lore person than anything else. And with new novels coming out every so often, every year, the lore is always there. The lore is always expanding. Kind of. I have a love-hate thing with how lore in general is handled in Warhammer. Like, obviously, I talked about my displeasure about Chiron and Acheron being offed off screen, and they basically threw like it was a one-sentence paragraph. I'm fine. Look, here's the thing. I'm fine if you were gonna kill off Acheron and Chiron. That would have been fine, but show it. Like, it's the same thing with Yarick. It's like, show it. Show that noble sacrifice. I don't want Warhammer to be like Star Wars, where we keep a character longer around than it needs to be. Looking at you, Ahsoka. Looking directly at you, Ahsoka. But yeah, that's the thing, is that I approve, like, if you're going to kill off a character, like, make it so we care about the sacrifice. All we got was a blurb about it. And again, I'm still of the mindset of maybe they'll showcase it, of Acheron's death, because I thought I misread it that his ship was destroyed by the flaring of the Eye of Terror, warp storms, essentially. When it's actually Acheron sacrificed himself to keep a Gene Stealer cult from taking over a planet. Chiron, I can't remember how Chiron passed. But yeah. Point being, if you're I actually want to read that in a book. And there are other stories that have been mentioned in other, bits of novelization and things like that I also would really like to, read as a full-on novel. So we're going to talk about 5 storylines that I would love to see get novelizations. So just a few things here and there. So we'll talk. So we're going to talk about that, and maybe one day they will get novelizations rather than little blurbs in other books or source books. So let's get started. We'll get started with the first one, and I think this one is actually going to happen with the new Scouring storyline, with the Scouring line of books, excuse me, and that is the Iron Cage. I am in no way a fan of either of the Imperial Fists or the Iron Warriors. I know, a lot of people just clicked off immediately. But the Iron Cage is one of those battles that is like, holy crap, this is awesome. So for those who don't know what the Iron Cage is about, the Iron Cage was basically Perturabo and the Imperial Fists were lured into a trap during the Scouring by the Iron Warriors and Perturabo. This was also Perturabo's ascension into demonhood. And one of the things of why I want to see this as a full novel, like one of the major reasons why I want to see this is get its own, I'm hoping, because I think we will get this as its own novel, and I guarantee you better buy it fast, because that one's gonna go for insane amount of money, like some of the other books and the 55 other books in Warhammer in the Horus Heresy. But I digress. The Iron Cage. The reason why. One of the biggest reasons, like I said, this was the battle that led to Perturabo ascending to demonhood. And a lot of Warhammer fans, myself included, all collectively agree that was fucking stupid. Because at no point during the heresy did Perturabo want to lose himself like Angron or Mortarion or Fulgrim, or Magnus. He wanted to preserve his humanity, and the only reason he joined Horus and the other traitor legions was because fuck you, Dad. That was really it. So the idea of him ascending to demonhood and the Iron Warriors becoming Chaos Undivided, but not really. I want to see them actually go further in explanation as to why Perturabo ascended into demonhood. Like, why did he choose to do that? And maybe we'll get a deeper explanation as to who did that. I mean, we get a lot of talk of Perturabo, there's a lot of connection now with the Iron Warriors and Vashtor. So maybe they can retcon, because Warhammer is also no stranger to those. Maybe we can get a retcon into the idea, maybe we can get the retcon that it was Vashtor who ascended, who helped Perturabo ascend into demon princehood. And maybe that could all, like, in turn, because we all know Vashtor's whole thing is he wants to become the fifth Chaos God. Maybe when Vashtor's whatever plan, whenever they get back to it, finally excels, they can finally, like, the Iron Warriors will become, they'll serve Vashtor. I've said that from the beginning for the longest time, that what I think is or what I hope to happen is that Vashtor ascends to godhood, to full godhood, and the Iron Warriors are his legion, like how the World Eaters are Khornes, or that, and then we get Perturabo as the fifth Demon Primarch, who serves a Chaos God, and it goes like, yeah, you've completely lost the plot, Iron Warriors. My point being is that maybe, that's why one of the major reasons why I want to see the Iron Cage. And also, the Iron Cage, like, from the blurbs we know about it, sounds really cool. So, yeah, this is one I'm pretty sure we're going to get as a book. That's why I wanted to talk about it first. So the Iron Cage. The next novel I want to get is a novel exploring the friendship between Sanguinius and the Silent King. We do now know, thanks to some recent blurbs and even some novels, that the Silent King and Sanguinius were actually allies. They were actually friends. Like, Sanguinius encountered the Silent King, and even the Silent King laments that it should have been the Emperor that died and Sanguinius who lived. Because if Sanguinius lived and he became the Emperor, mankind would have not only been able to ascend to a higher level, they would have been able to bounce back, and maybe there could have been an alliance between the Necrons and the humans to fight the Tyranids. The Silent King laments that, like, they were actually friends. So I'd love to see a novel of Sanguinius meeting the Silent King, like him and this. Why did this friendship start? So that's one I would really love to see. Also, I don't think anyone would be opposed to another Sanguinius novel. Right? Like, would any of you be opposed to more Sanguinius and I'm also a proponent that Sanguinius should never come back. I think that it's the same thing of why I don't want Ferrus Manus or Horus or Conrad, Clone, or what have you. I don't want them back, because I personally believe that lessens the character's impact on the story. But I'm not opposed to them telling stories of, like, Lost Era stories. So yeah, you can have a new Sanguinius novel without, you could just have its more extended lore. So there you go. Same with another Necron being friends with a Primarch, and that is the story of Trazyn and Guilliman. So Trazyn once said in The Infinite Divine that he was actually friends with Guilliman. Now it's Trazyn, he could be lying, but he did point out that he and Guilliman did meet before the Horus, sometime during or after the Horus Heresy, and he claims that he and Guilliman are friends. Again, Trazyn could be lying, and what honestly is that maybe Trazyn inadvertently saved Guilliman and then tried to kidnap him and put him in the collection, and then just settled for some of his Ultramarines. Because remember, he does have Heresy era Ultramarines in his collection. He used them during the Battle of Cadia. So I would love to see that novel of, like, Trazyn. And I do think that's like that ambush on, I think it was Calth during the Scouring, where the Alpha Legion tried to assassinate Guilliman. So that could be a cool novel of, like, Trazyn. I personally think it would be kind of fun if, like, Trazyn just showed up, saved Guilliman, was like, I'm going to try to take you to it. Guilliman was like, no. So that's another novel I would like to see. For another novel, we're already this is novel number 4. Another novel I would love to see in the continuity for our 4th novel. The 4th one I would love to see is a story like one novel. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet, but at the same time I wanted to keep it vague. I don't know how much of an answer I want it to be, but I want to have a novel set during the golden age of the Eldar. I'm not the biggest Eldar guy, but their reign was 65 million years of galactic dominance. but I would love to see a novel like just focus like on that. Maybe even during the twilight years of that, and even give the like the novel ends with the teasing that Slaanesh is going to be born soon. So maybe it could be like kind of like how we get a lot of Krypton novels, where because DC just writes the same damn story every time. Maybe a story like that where you could have like it's the Eldar, but it's the final years or days before their hedonism births Slaanesh. You could do that, like have all the warning signs and whatnot. And finally, for another another novel I would love to see made from Warhammer, I would love to have a novel that it's gonna be controversial. I want a Space Wolves novel that doesn't make me hate the Space Wolves. Yeah, can we just have one Space Wolf novel where it's not like I have no love for the Space Wolves. If you like the Space Wolves, that's totally fine. I got no problem with you, but I've never liked the Space Wolves. The only time I've come close to liking them was during the book Battle of the Fang. And I'm not. And keep in mind, I'm not because like, oh, you just like because it's a Thousand Sun. I don't. Fuck those guys too. It's just a good story. I love a good like siege story, and the Battle of the Fang is like that. So, maybe just a Space Wolves novel where we have the Space Wolves where they don't become generic giant Vikings. Odd concept, and maybe that book is out there and I just haven't read it. It could be that too. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what are 5 novels you would love to see made in the Warhammer 40k universe? I might do one for fantasy, or rather Age of Sigmar, but they are doing old world novels again, I believe, so that could happen. I could do that too. But anyway, just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.